I turn the telly off and step out into the hall. I pull on my Wellingtons and my big coat and I head out the front door. That's better. I can breathe again outside. It's cold, but I can feel a wave of relief running through me. How daft is that? Feeling better outside my own house. Daft, that is. But I do. I head down the road, just walking. I'm not sure where, but I need to walk. Clear sky. Full moon. Can't remember the last time I was out this early. Not since I was working, certainly. Even then it was rare. I remember going fishing with Grandad once, when I was staying there. Used to spend a couple of weeks with him on some holidays, just to get me out from under Mum's feet. He was a kind man, my Grandad. A keen fisherman too. We headed out at 5 in his old Zodiac. How old was I? 12, maybe. 1965? Yeah. He drove us out to a little fishing spot he knew in Holderness. Spent a couple of hours out there fishing. Can't think what we caught. Nice. A carp, I seem to remember, but I can't be sure. Chucked it back anyway. It was lovely spending time, just him and me. He brought a flask of hot chocolate and some biscuits, and so after we'd fished, he drove us out along Spurn Point. We sat on the shingle, had breakfast, watched the terns and the gannets diving into the sea. Can't do that now. Point's cut off. It's an island. I find I've walked to the Ashes, the park, and the playing fields. The sky's getting a bit lighter now. It'll be dawn soon. I wander round the paths and sit on a bench by the kiddies' playground for a bit. A robin starts singing in a bush somewhere behind me, even though it's still quite dark. They know, though, birds, don't they? They spot the first traces of the day and get up and get on with it. No dawdling in bed for them. It flies out from wherever it is and perches on the ground not 10 feet away from me. Pretty little thing, searching for worms or grubs or something. It keeps stopping to look at me. I remember Grandma was a bit superstitious about robins, but harbingers of death, she said. Stuff and nonsense, really. Really bad luck if they come in the house, she'd say. Jill and I used to come here with Lisa probably every week when she were little. Play on the swings, feed the ducks, down on the water. Long time since I've been here. 1 or 2 dog walkers about now, walking round the paths. There's a woman across the way with a cocker spaniel. Black mad thing. It is running all over the shop. Runs up to me and jumps up on the bench, starts scrabbling at me with its claws, trying to lick my mouth. The woman catches up with it. Get down, Spuggy, she says. Oh, I'm so sorry. Oh, don't worry about it, I say. I like dogs. But Spuggy, strange name. He pulls at my coat and it falls open a little. I'm in my pyjamas underneath it, of course. Whatever must she think? She sees, but she doesn't say anything. Come on, Spuggy. How many times have I told you? She evidently doesn't have much control over Spuggy because he gets bored after a while and jumps down and runs off, and she has to go chasing after him. We had a Pekingese when I was a lad. Yeah. Chang, my mother called it. Well, it was Chinese, isn't it? She said. I told Lisa that. She said it was racist. I don't know. Seems everything's racist these days. She was a lovely dog, though. But really I wanted something a bit less fancy. I really wanted a lurcher or a border collie or something. Dog that wouldn't mind a bit of mud. Breed with a bit more adventure in it. I did get a dog eventually. Jill and I were first married and we got our little terrace house out by East Park, and I used to go down to the Highland Laddie of an evening. And there was a friend I made down there. We used to breed greyhounds. So I got a pop off him. Len, called him. Brindle. Had a mind to train him up. To race, perhaps. I didn't know what I was doing. Len wasn't really interested. So I let it go of that idea pretty quick. Jill fed him biscuits too. And pretty soon he ended up the fattest greyhound you'd ever seen. I'm feeling much calmer now. The sky's lightening a bit. And I'm starting to fancy the idea of a cup of tea. Let's get home, put the kettle on. Oh, it's hard to get up now, though. So I just sit there trying to summon up the energy to move. Then I see two people walking towards me down the path. They're obviously chatting about something, but then one of them stops and the other one comes on. It's only then I realise the one coming towards me is a policeman. He comes up to me, rubbing his hands together like it's really cold. "Good morning, sir," he says. "Good morning, officer." My dad used to say you should always call a policeman officer, as a sign of respect, not constable, because you might be mistaken as to his rank, and constables might not like to be reminded that they are just constables. But they are all officers, Dad said, officers of the law. "Oh, it's a cold one this morning, isn't it?" he says. "Is it? I haven't really noticed," I say. "Oh, yes it is," he says. "It's a bit too cold to be sat on a park bench, isn't it?" "Well, in your pyjamas, like. You been here long, have you, sir?" "Not that long." "A lady said she saw you here 40 minutes ago, sir. Was that you sat here 40 minutes ago?" "Well, I don't really know. I suppose it might. Just a long time to be sat out in the cold and dark, isn't it, sir?" I'm guessing the lady to whom he's referring is the person hanging back a little way down the path. Spuggy's mummy. She reported me for sitting on a bench. "You aware of the time, sir?" "Aware of it? Well, I suppose I might have lost track a little, you know. I had things to think about.